Squishies! Welcome back to another vlog. This is Dirty Pair OVA, episode 5, and so nobody's doing it anymore. This was a really fun one. I actually kind of got into the mystery of this one partway through, when Yuri was digging through the underbelly of the casino and found, like, that lab. That really threw me for a loop and got me really interested. So I was a little disappointed that there wasn't... How do I phrase the disappointment? I was a little disappointed because where my brain immediately jumped to was that the casino was a cover for something shady, as opposed to the lab being a way for the casino to make more money. And I'm not sure why that one way interested me more than the other. I think it's that the lab is using an artificially created organism to cheat at essentially space roulette with meteors, is taking a pretty typical behavior and just inserting some sci-fi into it without really creating any commentary on anything. Whereas the other way around, if they'd been using casino as a cover for some kind of science fictional scheme, even if it was something as simple as making space drugs, that's using the science fiction to address something in real life. Where I don't know that high stakes roulette is so much an issue, like, in the world. I don't know. But it was still a fun episode, and I really enjoyed seeing Kei and Yuri doing this whole performance and getting outside of their usual roles. Vakaranki, which has covered a lot of Dirty Pair stuff, talks at great length about the performativity of Dirty Pair. That Kei and Yuri are based on wrestlers, and wrestling is a performance masquerading as an athletic competition. And so much of the surface level story, their argument is best interpreted as just that, a surface level thing, a performance that they are putting on, and that they are knowingly putting on. I don't know that that's always the best approach for every episode, in my opinion, but certainly in this one it seems to work well, and it's notable that the OVA opening is very focused on the idea of a camera watching Kei and Yuri, emphasizing that they are performing in a TV show. And in this episode we have them stepping into a different role from their usual one and creating a space in which someone else steps into their role. And that's actually really neat, because it addresses kind of the formulaic nature of this kind of show, where pretty much every episode, with very few exceptions, is Kei and Yuri get an assignment, go to an exotic space location, create havoc and property damage, and expose a scheme and capture some criminals. But here, they've got a different assignment. Their assignment is not to expose a scheme and capture criminals, it's to get another trouble consultant to act like a trouble consultant instead of playing medio. Their boss thinks that means getting him to act like a background character trouble consultant, getting him to act like someone who does the job of catching criminals with a minimal of damage, and then they're done. Problem is, that's not what a trouble consultant is in this show. What a trouble consultant is in this show, what a trouble consultant becomes when the cameras are running, is Kay and Yuri. So, by creating a space in which there is no trouble consultant, the formula of the show requires there to be a trouble consultant, a consultant who is trouble. Someone who creates all of this trouble. And Kay and Yuri are not doing that. They get their usual bickering, their awesome costumes, which, oh my god, like, don't get me wrong, I am a diehard Kay girl, but Yuri's outfit was amazing. It was impossible, sci-fi bullshit, original series Star Trek outfitting at, like, its peak. It was fantastic in multiple senses of the word. But despite that, they didn't create chaos and destruction. They created a hole in the episode where that was needed, and therefore, I'm blanking on his name, but the other trouble consultant, the karate guy, got sucked into it. And so he's the one who went on the angry, violent rampage. He's the one who broke the mass driver that they were using to gamble with, which, dear God. If it weren't for the existence of multiple sports that use weapons of war as game tools, I would be kind of horrified there. But there are, in fact, multiple games that do that. Still, though, the fact that they have a mass driver capable of reaching an inhabited planet and are using it to play a game is, I mean, it's a Dirty Pair level irresponsibility. But he creates that chaos just like Kay and Yuri normally do. He fulfills their role and thereby completes the formula of the episode. And it emphasizes the degree to which it is a performance and it is a role that they're playing. It's not really who they are, if there can be any who they are to a fictional character distinct from the character that we see portrayed. That's a complicated question. I used to participate very heavily in the website of Fred Clark, and one of the things he did, kind of the thing that he became really well known for, was these really focused, detailed, close read eviscerations of the Left Behind books. And he was one of the first people on the internet, and certainly the first person to get big, doing that kind of hate live blogging of a book. And one of the things that happened in the comment sections was certain female characters, their behavior made no sense because the book was written by raging misogynists. And so we started joking about the idea that they were just performing the role the authors gave them, and off stage they acted like, you know, human women. And so we named them, the characters were Hattie and Chloe, and we named them Meta Hattie and Meta Chloe, as being like the off stage ones. But those weren't really in the text. Those were deliberately being read against the text. And that's one of the fascinating things about Dirty Pair as a show, is that it invites you to read against itself. It invites you, especially in episodes like this one, to contemplate what if there is a meta Yuri and a meta Kei who are just performing the roles the writers set out for them. It's not actually like an entirely coherent concept, but at the same time, it's a fascinating playground and reminds me of one of the reasons I love this show. So yeah, this was a really good episode. I think that's about it. Thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check out my Patreon for early access to vlogs, essays, let's plays, and more. And I'll see you all next time. Bye!